support is making Celtic a successful club, Jimmy?
Well, that's a hard question, that, Tommy. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs.
No,
the ins and outs of Peter Lawwell's fucking contact book.
No, but hold on. But you said the contacts and the experience and the business acumen, it's caused Celtic to get there.
Well, he's got the experience. Without doubt, he's got the experience. I mean, he's been a chief executive or a high-ranking manager for many years before he came to Celtic.
He was a bean counter.
Yeah.
He was a bean counter, and then he worked in various companies, and he worked in the offices of these companies, and he had people running about collating figures for him and passing it on to him, and then he would sign it off. So it's not really what he knew; it's who he knew, and that's how he managed to go from various company to company.
I'm sure the Desmond fella didn't just pick him because he was an office waller.
Well, why do you think he picked him?
He must have had something.
It was a yes.
Look, of course he did. Of course he did. You can't say that Peter Law doesn't have a successful track record. You can't say that he isn't successful in business. That's not the point. If you're saying that Peter Lawwell's contacts are the ones that bring money into Celtic, I'd say you probably hit the nail on the head.
No, I didn't say that, John. I didn't say that. I did say that he has contacts throughout the business world, which every chief executive of any company would have.
But hold on. Let me deal with that question. Let me deal with that one. This is about I'm stuck at myself, right? And I'm refusing to move on to it, right? The business contacts that he's got, but what benefit does that bring Celtic? And especially, right, say for somebody like myself, right? Now, I've got no business contacts, but see for the business people that come in to Celtic, I would have no fear, right? I might look a scruffy bastard, but trust me, I used to be tin-foiled to do it my nut. Okay, I used to be a salesman and I used to brush up nice. I could go back to that, right? So if I brush up nice, who's to say I couldn't go out and know that I'm wanting to do it, and I'm not saying that I'm wanting, I'm not trying to go on a big ego trip and saying I'm thinking it, right? But I'm just saying, and I'm just trying to undermine your argument in the deepest respect, Jimmy, right? Not in a bad way, but that a Celtic fan, an ordinary Celtic fan, can go in and do a job less than what he's getting paid. But you're saying that it's his contacts and it's his business acumen. So I'm saying, okay, I've got no business acumen or contacts, but if I need to go and meet somebody, I'll brush up well, I'll mind my P's and Q's, and whatever that business is wanting from me, or whatever we're wanting from that business, I will say to you, I will aim to do a better job than what Peter Lawwell would do. Now, he might be able to do a funny handshake, or he might be able to do something else, but then if it's come to a funny handshake, are they wanting something dodgy out of us, then I'm not wanting Celtic to do business with them. So we move on and we find somebody else. So that's the way I would do it. So what is it that Peter Lawwell brings then? Because I feel confident enough that I can go toe-to-toe with anybody else. So if there's a business that wants to come in and say, we've got electrical, we can bring you this or that, okay, put it in front of me, and if I think that's good for Celtic, I'll run it past a few other well-selected heads who are capable of making a decision, and we'll come to a consensus on it, and then we'll do business as that. That's how Peter Lawwell runs it. So how can a crackpot who's an idiot like myself, how can an ordinary Celtic fan not do that, Jimmy?
I'm not saying they can't, Tommy, I'm just saying it won't happen.
But you just said earlier on you did, don't try and play with words, earlier on you did say...
It won't happen, mate.
But it can.
But the business world... Tommy, did you get that YouTube clip I fucking sent you about businessmen?
The ones in the private one, I can't remember. When was it the one you sent me last week? The
George Carlin one about businessmen. Did you not watch that one?
I've not looked at it. No.
Well, I'm going to waste my fucking time sending you something. That's
breaking the line up. John, John, phone is back. Phone is back, John. Phone is back and I'll phone this. I'll call you back, right? Fucking hell. Right, he's gave me a sore head. He'd give aspirin a sore head.
I was born in a Dublin street where the royal drums do beat, and the loving English feet they tramped all over us. And each and every night when me father'd come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours outside with this chorus. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell them how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes in Killashandra. Come, let me hear you tell how you slammed the brave Parnell when you thought him well and truly persecuted. Where are the sneers and jeers that you bravely let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Ah, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell them how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes in Killashandra. Come tell us how...
Oh, you there, John?
I am here, mate.
Brilliant. We'll get the old Gene back on. The old youngin. Where is it? Where we go? There we go. Here we go.
Oh, mate, he was tossing the toys at the pram there, wasn't he? Because you didn't watch his YouTube clip. Fucking hell. Have you got nothing better in your life to do than sit around and watch YouTube clips?
To be fair, I should have watched it, but...
Hello.
Yes, John said you're tossing your dummy out the pram here because I never watched your YouTube clips.
Can't hear you very well. Can you turn your bit up a little bit?
Any better? You there?
Yeah, it's fair. Go on.
What are you saying, you miserable old bugger, you?
Well, back to the conversation again, mate.
Right, George Carlin. Actually, I did see the George Carlin one. Remind me, I did watch it, you bastard. I just can't remind it. Tell me what it was about again.
About fucking businessmen.
George Carlin, he's a comedian, isn't he?
Yeah.
I did see it, I just can't remember. That was weeks ago. Fuck's sake, I'm getting fucking mad senile dementia off you. I'm catching it. You're fucking passing it on here. Fucking no wonder.
We need to call this call short then.
I know, I'll be passing on to you as well, John. You're getting that down there. But listen, now
I'm getting after you too, Reece.
But now that you've got my Melbourne number, John, right, is there any chance you can make a TV round that number?
Say that again?
Is there any chance you could make a CV round that number?
What, a CV?
Hey, a CV.
CV.
What you do, right?
A resume, a curriculum vitae.
Yes, you can just put down, it says in numbers, 67 Celtic Way, Melbourne, and put that number there, and then just pass it through. Say, this is Tommy Gold. He wants to come on the radio show. So there's my Melbourne number. You've got my Melbourne number. Circulate it about with some business acumen, can you? Can you get some business acumen and circulate it about there? Because I want to take over the Melbourne Celtics. We'll start the project.
I'll use my business contacts. I'll use my business acumen and facilitate a way in here. That's what I do.
Cool. Jack McGonigal Agency. You'll go far in this business, my man. But that's another thing I'll do, Jimmy. Another thing that we do, right?
Sake, he wants to take care of Celtic now. He wants to take care of the fucking Aussie supporter clubs.
Aye.
You're fucking getting like salmon every day.
Listen.
Yeah, it's one step at a time to world domination.
And you know, I saw it earlier on. I was watching the Parliament stuff, and they were talking about giving money out for little parties to to take part in this democratic shit. So I think that's the way forward as well. I think this time next year, the Melbourne Celtic, the Glasgow Celtic, and Bonnie Scotland all the fucking way. I'm a megalomaniac before you know it, mate. Fucking. Last year I could have had the man came out for £2.
Grab some power anyway.
It's gone to my head, mate. A year ago, it was £2 off of Craigie White. I could have had the Banky Mob. This year, it was $500,000 for fucking Sandaza. Now I'm megalomaniac out my tits here. It's too many phone calls I've made to David Murray. It's fucking gone to my head.
Well, you'll be buying a chateau in France next.
Is that, mate? I've got my chateau in Melbourne already. 90186767. Is it, sorry, 0390186767?
That's the one, mate. That's the one. I'll spread that around in here, the boys, in Melbourne. I've like, as I say to you, the last time I spoke, I only started listening to your show about a month ago or so, maybe 6 weeks.
God help you, pal.
Shut at you.
I know, tell me about it, I know.
You end up as daft as him he was going to say there. Right, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, so, you know, it's one of those ones. I'm not too sure if the boys down here are onto your wavelength yet, mate. So I'll need to get the PR hat on and get the Melbourne boys tuning in.
Aye, there's another boy there. Who was that boy? Is Pat Close? Pat. I see him on my Skype a lot. I've not spoken to him. I remember speaking to him. I'm sure he's from Melbourne. Is he part of your CSC?
Pat,
He's the one that does that Half a World Away podcast, I'm sure, isn't it? He's one of the boys that does that one on a Friday.
I've listened to that, the boys that did for the Melbourne balcony.
Aye, they did it on a Friday, aye.
Aye. I've listened to that before. I think I've my tweet or something like that. But I didn't hear back from him. But no, it's because I say it's the only time I really catch up with all the boys is down at the Celtic Club when the Celtic games are on, and they've not been on in the last couple of months. So I've not really been catching up with the lads. I've just been talking to candidates and clients that are Celtic fans. I've got I'll reach you here this, by the way, just as a wee offshoot and a wee diversory story. The Carragandi game, I was up at Brisbane meeting a client. He was a Scottish bloke. Turns out he was a Hun. He was actually, he wasn't too bad, but a big bit of blue nose anyway. So he emails me a couple of weeks later. Sorry, this was a couple of weeks before Carragandi. Then he emails me a couple of weeks later, like, she's around, blah, 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 blah. So we put a bet on. I put up a bottle of Grey Goose vodka against a bottle of whiskey. And,
turn that down. Hold on, Jimmy, turn that down. Turn that down, Jimmy. What are you doing?
It's getting the background music again.
Right, on you go.
And obviously I was like, right, okay, put your money where your mouth is. Let's have a bet. I bet yourself to get through. It's now, 2 months later, bottle of whiskey still hasn't arrived. Typical fucking Hun. Unbelievable. Can't believe I put a bet on. He's a client as well, you know what I mean? I have business interactions with him and he's not paid his debt. Fucking hell. Shortly.
That stupid music. What's the matter with you? You fucking lost the plot.
I thought we would add a bit of background to it. Australia, why not neighbours?
Background. I'll fucking put our tune on for you in a minute for some background. Right, let's get back to the serious shit, right? Right.
Right, it's okay. Tomorrow you're going in there tomorrow.
Right, so...
Are you going in incognito or are you going as yourself?
I'm going as myself, incognito.
As Parrot gave you that Wednesday?
No, I'm going more discreet. I'm more discreet. I'll appear normal until the time it happens. I'll sit there normal, and even when I'm sitting there, it'll just be a case of I'm not going to be onesied up. No, it's going to be more discreet. But listen, this is the point that I'm looking to do. Right, I'm thinking. Right, I want to speak in 3 issues, but realistically, that's going to be greedy. So I should only look to speak in 2. Right. So the 3 issues was the living wage, the UEFA, and the removal of petrol. So, but the removal of petrol comes first, and then the other 2 come last. So I'm kind of thinking I'll leave the living wage because I think it will get voted through, and I think there'll be enough people there speaking against it. and the one that I would sit
Agreed.
there for, the one that I would sit there for